Her name was Sarah, and she stood at the threshold of my life like a storm cloud, beautiful and destructive. We'd been married for 10 years, a decade that felt like a lifetime of building something solid, something real. Or so I thought. The day she told me she was leaving, the foundation of my world crumbled into dust. She didn't just leave, she shattered everything, telling me she'd found someone else, someone who made her feel alive. Her words were daggers, each one meticulously chosen to inflict the most pain. She wanted me to suffer, to watch me break. And for a while, I did. The first few months were a blur of empty rooms and deafening silence. Every corner of our home, now just my home, echoed with her laughter, her presence. I was a ghost haunting the memories of a life that was no longer mine. I'd wake up expecting to see her beside me, only to be punched in the gut by the cold, empty space. My friends tried to help, dragging me out for drinks, telling me I'd be better off. But their words felt hollow. How could I be better off when the person I'd planned my entire future with had just told me I wasn't enough? Sarah, meanwhile, seemed to be living her best life, plastering her new romance all over social media. Every smiling photo was a fresh twist of the knife. She wanted me to see it. She wanted me to know she was happier without me. One rainy Tuesday, staring at another one of her perfect life posts, something inside me just snapped. Not with anger, but with a strange sense of clarity. Why was I letting her control my emotions even after she was gone? Why was I allowing her the satisfaction of my misery? I was giving her exactly what she wanted. That night, I deleted my social media apps. It was a small act, but it felt like taking back a piece of my own mind. The next morning, instead of scrolling through pictures of her new life, I put on my running shoes and just ran. I ran until my lungs burned and my legs ached, until the only thing I could focus on was the rhythm of my feet hitting the pavement. For the first time in months, my head was clear. That run became a daily ritual. It was my time, my escape. It was where I processed the grief, the anger, the betrayal. Slowly, the focus shifted from what I had lost to what I could gain. I started waking up early, not out of anxiety, but with purpose. I rediscovered my old hobbies. I picked up the guitar that had been collecting dust in the corner, my fingers fumbling over the frets at first, but soon, melodies started to fill the silence of the house. I started cooking for myself again, not just surviving on takeout, but experimenting with new recipes, enjoying the simple act of creating something nourishing. The house started to feel less like a mausoleum of memories and more like my own personal sanctuary. One weekend, on a whim, I packed a bag and drove to the mountains. I hadn't been hiking in years. As I stood on a summit, looking out at the vast expanse of valleys and peaks, a profound sense of peace washed over me. Out here, surrounded by the raw, untamed beauty of nature, my problems felt so small, so insignificant. I wasn't the man who was left behind. I was just a man, breathing, living, standing on top of a mountain. This was a different kind of aliveness than the one Sarah had claimed she was seeking. It wasn't fleeting or dependent on someone else. It was solid. It was mine. I started spending every weekend exploring, hiking, camping under the stars. I was discovering not just new places, but new parts of myself. Months turned into a year. I was a different person. I was healthier, stronger, and more at peace than I had ever been, even when I was married. I'd reconnected with old friends and made new ones on hiking trails and at open mic nights. My life was full, not because I had replaced Sarah, but because I had rediscovered myself. I was happy, genuinely happy. One day, I ran into one of Sarah's friends at a coffee shop. The look on her face was one of pure shock. I guess the image she had in her head, the one Sarah had probably painted, was of a broken man. Instead, she saw someone who was vibrant and confident. I was polite, we exchanged pleasantries, and I went on with my day. I didn't feel a single pang of bitterness. The inevitable finally happened. A text from Sarah. It had been over a year and a half. I saw a picture of you. You look good, it read. A few days later, another text. Things aren't going so well. I think I made a mistake. The man she'd left me for, the one who made her feel alive, had moved on to his next thrill. The validation I once craved was now being handed to me on a silver platter. She wanted to meet, to talk. A part of the old me, the wounded part, wanted to see her, to show her how well I was doing, to finally get that satisfaction of her regret. But the new me, the man who stood on mountaintops, knew better. I replied simply, I'm glad you reached out, Sarah. And I'm sorry to hear things are tough. I truly hope you find what you're looking for. But I've found my own path now, and I'm happy. I wish you the best. I hit send and felt nothing but relief. There was no anger, no desire for revenge. Her suffering wouldn't add to my happiness. My happiness was already complete, built by my own two hands. I had learned that true freedom isn't about proving someone wrong or making them regret their choices. It's about letting go of the need for their validation altogether. It's about realizing that your happiness is your own responsibility, and it's the most incredible project you will ever work on. Her story continued on its own path, and so did mine. She wanted to see me suffer, to be the tragic figure in her triumphant narrative. But in her attempt to break me, she inadvertently set me free. She forced me to look inward and rebuild my life from scratch, on a foundation that no one else could ever shake. The greatest revenge wasn't watching her world fall apart. It was building my own world so beautifully that I no longer cared to watch hers at all. I was finally, truly free. Thank you so much for watching and sharing this time with me. If this story resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content. Your support means the world. See you in the next one.